I want to talk a little bit about, Dana alluded to it, Rob's connection to community and how that seemed to be an outlet or a surrogate for what he sort of felt like, I guess, in some ways, his father not being there. Talk to me a little bit about making those choices. And that was a great line Dana mentioned about the umbilical cord, but sort of what that represented in his life and juxtaposed with what he was going through with his father and the other things he was experiencing.
It reminds me of just the analogy of whenever an animal, a caged animal is let out of a cage after like 20 something years, and they still circle in that same spot when the cage is far removed. Just you saying that makes me just see that image. And I think that has a lot to do with this desire, or this like unspoken commitment to like community. I mean, this is all you know. This is also how all we have related to all of our lives. And I'm supposed to leave and go cater to somewhere else. No, it makes sense to me that I'm supposed to get and bring back to where I came from and bring that part out. I think a lot of his influences with science had a lot to do with his outlook about life, breaking down the microorganisms, and that's where it started and expanding from there. I think it all comes together for him, I guess, in the perspective that I assumed with it. But the attachment to community has more to do with a higher purpose. I feel like, Rob had a lot of connections to like higher source, bluntly said, he really tapped into higher self for sure. And I think that influenced his desires to serve.
One of the things that I really, I think that's right. One of the things that I really responded to in Rob was that, and one of the things I wanted to make in the film is that this is not a film about code switching. This is not a film about somebody trying to fit into these different environments in this way. This is about a guy who is his authentic self and brings the different worlds, the disparate areas of his world to him. It's actually one of the things that Jay was able to communicate really with a real skill, that you kind of you completely believe him in all of these different spaces. And that's something that was also Rob. And that's that idea that somebody is their authentic self in all of these spaces, that the world reacts the way the world reacts, but he holds his own identity. And that's the critical thing about Rob. So he can wear his do-rag in the lab at Yale, and it's not an act of defiance in any way. He is just being an authentic representation of himself, and let them think about it any way they want. And even if they do, and he did experience all of these microaggressions, he was still lend out an olive branch and still be a great communicator and connector with people, because that was who he is. And that's who he is back at home. That's who he is at Yale. That's who he is in his kind of totality. And actually, it's that sort of energy and that spirit that I always felt we need more of. We just need more of in the world. We need more of that kind of capacity to embrace all of those aspects of ourselves, and for other people to finally kind of get with that sort of program as well, and understand that that's what true allyship looks like. Understanding the full context of somebody and embracing them as that. And it took somebody like Rob, who's really confident in his own identity. He's able to sit and love his community, love his dynamics of his life, and take that into any other aspect of his life and show that as well. And so that sort of umbilical cord, the kind of binds that tie, all of those things are also reflections of his own complete identity and comfort with his identity. I think it's the reasons why I connect to Rob, and hope an audience does as well, for those reasons, for those exact reasons.